Every time I hit the record button, I take a deep breath and I giggle. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the lessons from my adventures in the land of adrenal fatigue. Anyone else having a hard time with their battery? Having a battery that recharges. It's almost like, these batteries don't recharge anymore. Have you ever had that? Like, my headphones are kind of like that right now, where I plug them in, the green light comes up, I put them on my head, I turn them on, and they say 20% charge. And I'm like, I just charged you. That's adrenal fatigue. At least that's how it feels for me. So I wanted to just kind of talk about some, maybe, I'm not talking about how to fix it or strategies, to go from adrenal fatigue to healed. That's not really what my heart is desiring to share right now. But it is wanting to talk about the shift that it is an invitation for. And I think there's a few different aspects that are important on a spiritual kind of a connection versus the physical form. Obviously, with adrenal fatigue, there is a physical body issue with the way that your adrenals are working. And so the cortisol cascade doesn't work right. In my case, my cortisol levels are low, really low. And I've had to do some things physically to change that. I've had to change my diet. I've had to add a bunch of supplementation. I had to reduce as much stress as possible. And I've had to change people, places, things that I just spent time with. So that's like the last 3 years of my life. But what I'm learning as a result of this adrenal fatigue lesson, life path, is this is really important. And it's who you thought you were is not who you are here to be. I'm going to say that again. Who you thought you were prior to this diagnosis and this experience is not who you are here to be. Hence the diagnosis and the experience. It's a big shift. It's an invitation for a complete and utter shift in how you relate to yourself. And the truth of who you are is individual for each person. Each person has their own soul curriculum, your own blueprint, your own set of lessons that you are here to learn, your own background and experiences that you come from. And I feel like adrenal fatigue has been an invitation for me to slow down, eliminate all of the bullshit, and be extremely picky and choosy about where my energy goes. What do I invest my energy in? It's very important to take note of where are all of those places that the energy is flowing out to, because it's leaking away, right? We think of life force energy, having the energy. When you don't have your energy, it's like life is no longer life. It's kind of like becoming a zombie and part of the living dead. And it's not who we're here to be, because that's kind of a meaningless experience in one regard, because what that's telling us is we're not here and acting on our purpose. We're not living from our purpose. And expressing the truth of who we are. Somewhere along the line, we have veiled, hidden, packed it away, forgotten, rejected, abandoned the truth of who we are. And so adrenal fatigue for me has been an invitation to unpack that, to reclaim that, to bring that all back into being and to weave that all back together again. So that's the invitation. It's the spiritual invitation of, who are you really? Who are you really? And as part of that process, it's like climbing in as a caterpillar, right? It's like we've spent the first part of whatever prior to diagnosis as this caterpillar, and we've been chewing and munching on life and taking in life and chomp, 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 chomp. Oh, give me more of this, give me more of this, give me more of this, chomp, 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 chomp. And then your body says, okay, it's time for the cocoon. And that's what adrenal fatigue feels like to me. It was a cocoon, like stepping into a healing chamber, a cocoon. But the thing is once you go into the cocoon, if you think about a butterfly, that caterpillar is no longer a caterpillar. Like, it just doesn't even exist. It becomes goo. Like, it's literally goo inside of this cocoon, right? It's disintegrating everything that it used to be and taking all of those building blocks and rearranging and reconfiguring them into something magnificent when it comes out of that cocoon. And here's the thing about that process, that metamorphosis, it has its own sweet, divine timing. Does that suck? I am one of those people who are like, let's get shit done now. So I'm going to heal this now. I'm going to throw everything at it I possibly can. And you know what that is? It's doing the same thing that I was doing before the diagnosis. I just changed the things that I was doing, but I was still doing, and doing a lot. You cannot force your way through the goo. It takes its own sweet time to shed, to disintegrate, to remove all of the layers and all of the protections and all of the chains, all the things that we were attached to, all the things that we clung to, our identity, the who we thought we should be. All of that gets to be reviewed and to be looked at and to be dropped because it's not a part of the future you. You can't force your way through the goo. This is where we get to learn about, these are the spiritual lessons that we get to learn in the goo. It's also called a void if you think about transformation, and people talk about you're not who you were and you're not who you are yet, but there's like this void space. It's the same thing. And that's where we learn really, really powerful and incredible things like surrender, like trust, like reconnecting to our higher self or to our sentience, wherever that lies. It may lie in something that we call God. It might lie in something that we call Mother Nature, right? But making that connection to something that's bigger than we are. And it's also where we learn to allow. There's a process of allowing that comes in and that sinks in where we just have to slow down. We learn about presence. And when we're in this state of slowing down, oh my goodness, the things that we can see, the beauty that is available in this state. I see hearts in leaves and rocks. I see faces all over the place. You know, just little reminders like the universe is here. We're supporting you. Kind of miracles. reminders that I'm not alone in this journey, even though it can feel like it, because oftentimes when we're in that cocoon, nobody really understands what we are, what's happening. It's like there's just not enough people that really get it. And oftentimes those lessons we're learning, we have to learn on our own anyway. Like they're not for other people to get or to teach us at times. But here's the most magical thing that I have come to understand through this process is it's not just, I don't know, the word woo. It's not just a woo thing that's happening in our bodies. It's actually changing the way the human form is. And for some of us who are going through spiritual awakenings, and maybe this is your spiritual awakening, maybe being kicked into adrenal fatigue has just been like this whole life rearrangement, this dark night of the soul, this complete and utter dismantling and rebuilding of you. There's another process that's going on underneath it all, and it's called becoming the crystalline human. The crystalline human. It takes time for that human that is in this very physical, very material, three-dimensional world to be able to adjust and transform and be ready to exist in this fifth dimensional new earth world. Right? So we have to not only change spiritually and emotionally, but we're actually going through a physical change too. And so that is the kind of a rebirthing process. It's like going into this cocoon is kind of like going into a womb. And then at some point in time, we rebirth. We crack out of our cocoon and we stand up and we pump our wings and we get everything like in it, and we have to push. There's resistance. We have to push through it. Kind of like, when you're birthing through the birth canal as a little baby, you're getting pushed through this tight space, right? It's a rebirth process. So it's a death and a rebirth process, and it's a sacred process because we're clearing everything and we're activating things. And there's lots of stages along the way. And so what I just want to share is the message around these stages. They take time to work through. And so there is really no point in like trying to cling and hold on in this process. This is a process of surrender. This is a process of allowing. This is a process of holding the dream that you're here to live the magic and the joy and the love that you are here to experience because that's what you are, right? You're here to experience it because that's what you are. But that's not what the 3D is. That's what the 5D is. And so there's this journey of transformation that's going on that is moving us from this dense energy to this lighter energy. And so there's an adjustment period, and our body has to go through that adjustment period. And so we need more rest. We need to be gentle with ourselves. Oftentimes we need to rewrite our story. The things that we say to ourselves, not always loving, oftentimes very critical and judgmental. It's a time to be able to go inward and to really receive the truth of who we are and to align with that truth. And that's what this journey of adrenal fatigue has been illustrating for me as I have walked through it. I'm no longer at the beginning stages of it where I'm completely focused on like food and supplementation and things like that. I'm now kind of out of that phase and into the how do we now work with what we have? right? These limitations that we've been given. How do we innovate and create and bring something new that is in alignment with what we have to work with, that is still joyful, delightful, delicious, fun, playful, all of those things, right? That's what we're here to experience as humans. We're not here to stay stuck in the drudgery. That isn't what we're here for. We're here to grow. We're here to learn. We're here to evolve. And many of us are here to hold and anchor a new light, a new frequency, a new world. We're planting seeds for the future. And in order to be able to do that, we have to then become the energetic match to that. And that is part of the process of adrenal fatigue. It's truly a deathing and rebirth process. So, welcome. If you are going through that, let me know. Let me know where you're at in your journey. Like, subscribe, comment, share with me what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because, I believe that there is a call going out to the world, and that call is basically creating a shift from people who are working in this heavy, dense energy of corporate times and the rat race and the hustle program, to breaking free of that and to coming into a creating the new world program, which means that there are many of us who are here to leverage our creation energy, and that creation energy gets birthed by shedding all of the programming that we once believed to be true and step into the power and reclaim the power of who we are here to be. So if you're in that process, welcome. You're in a good place. We'll see what comes next as we continue to share our wisdom on this channel. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I'll see you next time.